Um, let us go ahead and get started so that, and if Andrea joins us, then so be it. So, calling the meeting to order. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with Mcconville Park. So I see we have Owen. How about Jeff Amato?
Jeff's here.
Yes, I'm here as well.
Okay. All right, guys. So let us go to Mcconville Park. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and take us through the application, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, great. Did you want to share the image that that was sent out, or did you want me to share my screen?
Why don't you share your screen, and we'll I'll make sure that I have all of the images that, because I have the image that Lloyd sent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just. So essentially, this is the design that was created by Owen Carmesino and myself.
I don't see it yet, Jeff. It's not on yet.
Oh, it's not up yet.
As far
I
as
see it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I
then
see it.
It's my problem then. Sorry.
So I think everybody has this. This is what we had worked on. We discussed this from the last meeting. So I don't know if there's anybody new that's on, but I can recap our process. Essentially, it was Owen as a Boy Scout working for his Eagle Scout project, and working with the Recreation Commission for a sign for the 9/11 memorial in Mcconville Park. And so this sign is, we're proposing to install this. It's going to be made out of 4x4 pressure treated wood posts, 2 posts on each side that will be approximately 6 feet in height, and set in to the ground approximately 2 feet, and cemented concrete footings installed, so they're cemented in place. The sign itself is proposed to be stainless steel, 1/8 inch thick stainless steel, 2 pieces actually, so it will be the same on both sides, viewable from both sides, and in the center it'll be a quarter inch thick black plexi or composite material. And essentially what you see on the sign is what's going to be cut out, and then will be essentially showing the black through, so you'll be able to see the middle of the sign, and it would be the same on both sides. The supports, the straps essentially are going to be 2-inch thick, wrapped around both sides all the way around the 4x4 posts, and secured to the sign.
By 2-inch thick, you mean 2 inches high?
Correct. Sorry,
wide,
2 inches wide. It's going to be the same 1/8 inch thick as the sign itself. That's the intent, is to be the 1/8 inch thick, which is it's pretty sturdy. It's a thick material, can't be bent. And so there'll be 4 of them, 1 in each corner, that will secure the signs. We're going to have vandal resistant attachments on the signs as well. Essentially something that can't be unbolted or unscrewed without a special tool. And again, all the hardware is going to be stainless steel, so it's not going to rust or rot or any issues with that as well. And so the sign itself is 3 feet wide. The posts from inside to inside is 3 feet 4 inches. And then so there's approximately 2 inches between the post and the sign. And then so the sign itself will be probably slightly over 6 feet because there's an arc to the design, to the steel. So if the posts are set at approximately 6 feet, the sign would be approximately 6 feet 2 inches. And then we have post caps, which we are proposing. And so the post caps are the one that we'd like to use is a cast aluminum with LED solar lights in them. So it would illuminate the sign somewhat and shine down onto the sign. So so this is an aluminum material. We had discussed last time potentially doing a composite or a pressure treated. There's also, this was a stainless steel option that we found. Our concern is that the stainless might not match because it's a different, different manufacturer, different finish. So, so we thought that the black cast aluminum would be nice on top of the 4x4 posts, which will be the posts themselves will be a stained black. So essentially 2 colors, black, the post stained, as well as the composite, or the plexiglass PVC composite material in between, and then the post caps will be black as well. The remainder of the sign would be a stainless steel, and would be the sign itself and the 4 straps.
Okay. How about location of where the sign is to be installed?
Yes. So so we actually there were some questions on scale. So so we cut out a piece of paper to the size of the sign, and this is Owen who's holding the sign, where it would be located. So this is 9D Morris Avenue here, across from the entrance to the school. In the background, you'll see Northern Avenue. And so essentially, it's equidistant between Northern Avenue and Haldane Avenue and Haldane Street. So I was looking at it on a map, and so the 9/11 memorial is essentially this box in Mcconville Park at the base of it, and then there's a stone patio that leads towards Morris Avenue, kind of a stairway to nowhere, so to speak. But the sign itself would be located at either end, either side of this. It's a 4 foot wide. Sorry about that. Go back to the image. So it's the path. Owen currently he's standing on the southern side of the path, but again it's a 4 foot wide path. And originally we proposed to have the sign on the northern side. I think it was discussed and preferred by some of the HDRB members to be on the southern side of the path. So Owen is standing on the southern side of the path. Essentially, it's equidistant between Northern Avenue and Haldane Street. But again, so this is 25 feet from the white line off of Morris Avenue, 9D, and that's this line that Owen is standing on. That we measured that, and so there's also, we have another picture in going the other direction. So this is standing facing south, and looking back towards this is Haldane Street here that separates it. And again, that these lines here note where the 4x4 posts would be located. So I think last meeting, we discussed these hedges and the height of the hedges. So as you can see, this hedges on the south side are significantly higher. Obviously, they have to be cut, but they're currently, even when cut down, they're probably going to be a little bit higher than the hedges on the north side. But you're looking at these hedges here range from 6, 7, even 8 feet. Obviously, they'll be cut, and we have to trim them. But we discussed whether the sign would be viewable over the hedges or not, and it won't be. At least not from travel from the south traveling northbound. It wouldn't be viewable over these hedges. But with the measurements, we still have the 25 feet. We still have room that we could install the sign, and it would be essentially right in front of the hedges, within a foot or so off of the line of the hedges themselves. So this is just to give scale. Owen is probably about 6'2".
Yeah, 6 foot.
So that gives a good representation of where the sign will be located. It's definitely far enough away from the roads that it shouldn't cause any issues with line of sight, both people coming from from Haldane or Northern Ave, as well as on Morris Avenue 9D. It's set back far enough. So at this point, the path, you can see in the photo, there's some stones here. That's the other side of the path. So it's only a 4-foot wide path, and the intent is for it to be at that path that leads directly to the Patriot Garden and the 9/11 memorial, the steel that we have from the towers. So
do we have a site plan of some sort to indicate where it's going to be located?
yes, I had sent that previously.
I don't think that's in. I don't have that in the folder.
I can find it.
You have it? Okay, sorry, I don't have that.
No
Are
problem.
the straps are stainless also, right? Like the sign? Yeah.
Correct. It'll be the same material.
Okay. Just trying to make sure the drawing's right.
So I have a this was the aerial site from
Yes,
last time,
okay.
if you recall. This is just a Google map. So this is the circular garden area. That the Tots Park is to the southwest of this location, and so this is Morris Avenue here, the crosswalk leading to Haldane for orientation. So so the path here is kind of hidden a little bit by the tree itself, but these are the hedges that we were standing in front of when we took the photo. And essentially this X is the location, where he was standing.
X marks the spot.
And then we also have
on the south side of the
Right.
path then, right?
so this is again the location here as well. This is obviously when the hedges were nice and trimmed and lower. So hopefully this is what they'll look like next year. We'll work with the village highway department on getting the hedges trimmed. But the X again is the location where we were standing and taking those photos.
Okay. Does any of the board members have questions or comments?
My only comment, well done, but my only comment is about the caps, and my opinion that they either be trying to pull that back up. Yes, I think the composite or pressure treated is a better way to go. A couple reasons. The solar light introduces a maintenance issue in itself. And if one side goes out or part of the light goes out, you end up with kind of a not that nice looking illumination going on around the sign. So I just think keeping it sort of simple and two materials, either all pressure treated staying the same or the composite, the Trex black, I think is a nicer look.
So, yeah, I agree. There's going to be a maintenance component to it. I think that we were anticipating some type of illumination, probably solar in that area rather than trying to run electric. There is electric somewhere near there, but we have a solar light actually within the garden itself that illuminates the flag. We have an American flag and a POW MIA flag as well. So so the rec commission does regularly look at both the flags themselves when they need to be replaced. The POW MIA currently has to be replaced, and then so we do monitor the solar lights there as well. So this is something that we can monitor. I think it's not going to be on Owen at that point. You know, his work will be done, and hopefully he will be an Eagle Scout, and then it's something that the rec commission can definitely do. We didn't really want to have the solar light on the ground only because of snow, and you know, it would just be covered with snow and then probably damage more. And so that was, but we thought it should be illuminated somewhat. Light, I don't think it's going to be a bright shining light. They're LED, but it's the way that the post cap is set, that they're really illuminating down, not out. So
Yeah.
just not going to be a bright eye, you know, something that's drawing your eyes at night. That would have, and then again, all of this aluminum too. I don't think I mentioned it, but last time I did, that this aluminum is not going to be a shiny. I'm sorry, the stainless steel is not going to be a shiny finish to it. What they can do, and if I go back to the stop sharing, it's kind of hard to tell from this, but essentially we take it and sand the
Right, it's a brushed finish.
it's supposed to be a brushed finish, exactly. And essentially we're just passing it through a large sanding belt, and so we're working with you know, with that to try and get no glossing, no gloss or finishes, nothing that's going to be shiny that'll draw your eye.
All right, I guess the question I have that I think Todd is raising is the fact that you're going to have a light which shines down the post. And so it'll draw your eye to the post as opposed to the sign.
Well, we feel that we actually feel that it would illuminate not just the actual posts, but that it actually shines down, and it's not a spotlight down, it shines out in each direction, so it will illuminate the adjacent area within a couple of feet. So that's what we're looking for. It's just a couple of feet. We're not, it's not going to be like a spotlight that shines up directly on it. It's just basically going to provide some light where it might be more visible at dusk.
I know, but it basically the lens is around all four sides of the cap.
Correct. So it shines out in all four directions of the cap.
I know. So it'll. All right. I have a proposal for the board. So why don't we? If the lighted cap doesn't work, what is your preference after that?
Well, we're going to propose this with a lighted cap, and then you can vote on it. And then if there's that's our preference. And then I guess if there's a problem with that, we can address that later on. But this is going to be our proposal.
But what I want to do is give you the option right now. If the lighted cap is a problem, what would be your alternative?
So this was our alternative to the lighted cap, because in the last meeting you had indicated that we didn't want it to be plastic and that we didn't want it a composite material, and that was the consensus from the board. And so and actually someone actually mentioned aluminum in the last meeting as well. So we thought that this was an alternative. At the last meeting, we were discussing pressure treated. So we're going to go with our design is for now, it includes the aluminum with the lighted material. So
Right.
if
Okay.
that's a problem.
I think we understand that. What I'm saying is that it gets built exactly the way that you're looking for it. But then after a couple of months, you come to the realization that, gee, this light is not really what we envisioned, and it may be a problem. What is your fallback position? What would you pick after that?
So yes, absolutely. So our preference, I think, for consistency would be the pressure treated, so that we are consistent. I understand, I believe what Todd was saying about the composite. I don't know that the finish of the composite is going to be as similar to the composite material that we're using in between the two posts. It's more about the other material. PVC is more of a plexiglass. It's going to have a dull finish, a sanded finish, but I don't know that it's going to match as well. So if there was an issue with the lighting, our fallback would be the pressure treated wood that would be stained black, just like the post. So there'd be no difference, no discrepancy there between.
Okay. So any other questions or comments from the board?
I just have one. If you could go back to the graphics, I think it looks good. I've been making some changes to the drawing that we're looking at. As I was looking at this, though, the graphics of it, I'm wondering about. I'm looking at the. Just keep it there. I'm looking at.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were drawing that.
I was going to draw on it. So
yeah,
I'm looking at Cold Spring, New York, and it's not symmetrical.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if they need to space it over a little bit.
We can double check that. Yeah. It should be centered. Everything should be centered. I believe he snapped a line in the center, but I think you're right.
It looks like he probably has an extra character at the end here that's spacing it out.
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. So we can definitely adjust that.
The other thing I was wondering, and I know this is the traditional way to do.
You're fading out there.
Just leave off or use a.
Lloyd, you're fading out.
I wouldn't want to do a. Oh, must have been the train. Better now?
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could just eliminate the hyphens to clean up the graphics, to make it less cluttered looking. I don't know what you feel about that. I'm just finding it busy, and the way this one's spaced is odd to me too. So just wondering.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Owen, do you have a preference there, Owen?
Or the sign caps? For the post caps?
No, I'm sorry. The dashes, kind of as if this is the date where Lloyd just circled. If we could remove the dashes and just have the 9, and then the towers, and then the 01 as the date.
What?
I don't know if sorry.
You don't agree?
I kind of disagree. I think that is representative of it being a date, which is kind of important. Otherwise, you've got a
911.
Not know what it is, but you've got like a floating 9 and a floating 01. I think.
Like we could replace the dashes with slashes, but I think that would look
worse.
That
would be worse.
No. I think the way it is fine.
Yeah, but centering the Cold Spring. Good eye, Lloyd. Good eye.
Thank you.
I think Lloyd. I think the reason that I think you said there was issues with centering in the date itself is just because there's 2 numbers on one side and only 1 on the other. So I think that's kind of inherent. You're going to get the offset.
No, that looks fine. It was just
okay.
This guy here looks closer than, I don't know.
We can adjust that. Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it spaces it as it spaces it probably, but if you have some control.
Yeah,
I
he
can
uses a
fix that.
file. It's a different, it's not AutoCAD. It's something a little different that he uses. That's why I couldn't get you the digital
Yeah,
file.
yeah.
I think it's proprietary with the equipment that they're using.
Other
So
laser cutting, yeah.
yeah, but he can move stuff. We were doing that slightly while I was there. So that's not a problem at all.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I appreciate the help with this. That's huge too, Lloyd.
Oh,
Just
sorry.
having the digitally putting in the dimensions is very helpful.
Yeah, I don't,
Okay.
sorry, it was a little delayed. I don't draw enough anymore for it to be quick. Truthfully.
Okay, so we now have an application. Let me just poll the board member. Anybody see a reason to have a public hearing?
No.
No,
Lloyd, no. Okay, we're all in agreement, no public hearing. So therefore, we have an application which is modified, and I guess, Jeff, if you could send me those two images locating where the sign is going to be in the park. Do I have a motion to approve the application as submitted with the one correction as far as the text, and with the post cap being the illuminated post cap? If that does not work, then the alternative being the pressure treated wood cap. So that's the application. Do I have a motion regarding it?
I would,
Somebody,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Bob.
I would move to accept it as you just described.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so Todd, your vote.
Aye.
Lloyd,
Aye.
and I vote aye. All right, Jeff, it was approved.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
And I just sent the email. I replied all to Lloyd's email. So I just sent the locations, the two sign locations, both the aerial and the ground that you had requested.
Okay.
And I
Very good.
will,
Thank
I
you.
will I updated the drawing while you were talking with some of the materials. This is
Oh,
the-
great.
it
Okay,
takes the
great.
Village, right?
Yeah.
I'll reply to your email with the update.
Okay. And when I send the updated drawing with the Cold Spring Centered, I'll resend that to you for your files too, just so you have it.
Okay, yeah, because basically I need it for the certificate of appropriateness. I'll do that over the weekend, and you guys should have it by Monday.
Okay, we're gonna start to fundraise for this and then start getting materials as the ground starts to thaw, and hopefully we'll have that in the next month or two. That's the plan.
Okay, very good.
Thank you,
We
everyone, for your help.
appreciate
Thank you all.
Thank you.
it. Okay, thank you.
Take
All
care.
right, bye-bye.
All right, have a good night. Bye.
Good night, Owen.
Okay, next, 1 Chestnut Street. James, you're up.
Hi, all. Good to see you tonight. I am James Hartford from River Architects, and I'm representing the parish of St. Mary's in the Highlands. And I've been asked to help them design a new entry porch, side porch to the kitchen area of the parish hall. So here's the 1905 Sanborn map update that shows the church here, the rectory in this rectangle, and the parish hall here. The porch is projected off of an addition which is not original to the parish hall, which is single story framed construction which forms the kitchen. For reference, this is the intersection at Main Street and Route 9D. Over here is my studio right now. Just to add a little background, a couple photographs here. Can you see this photograph?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a photograph that shows a lot of the tree here, unfortunately, but also the current porch situation and the sad state of affairs. Originally, earlier, I wouldn't say it's original, there's a cast concrete set of steps that come down that were overbuilt, and this current porch is actually quite a hazard. These are various views here. You see it in the greater context. Notice that the soil slopes away considerably from the parish hall building itself. And what we're proposing is to expand this a little bit and then actually extend a ramp kind of diagonally to take advantage of the slope change, so that we're landing approximately about here with the ramp, so that we're not at a huge height change difference for the ramp itself. So that would explain that kind of angular approach that you'll see later. And one of the things that we're picking up on in the design for the proposed porch is picking up on these peaked windows that are part of the architecture of the parish hall, and rendering those in kind of in a wood kind of scroll work detail, which I'll show you as well. So back to this. So we are, so this is just a partial elevation viewed from the west of the proposed new porch, and then a view from the east showing the ramping up that I had referred to, and approximation of the slope and the change in grade from the stonework. And then this is an elevation showing the porch in its the porch plus the ramp in its full extent. So we're proposing to expand the ramp from the much smaller piece. It's about, I don't know, it's probably about 6 feet wide here in the existing. Over here, it's actually smaller. You can see it in this lower corner. So this will be demolished and proposing to run it from basically the corner of the kitchen here over to the far end to the west there, and out a little bit longer. So there's enough room for them to move the trash cans, which are currently left outside on the asphalt at the entry corner of the parish hall. It's a bit of an eyesore and a mess. So the goal is to have a place where trash is stored and contained, and also to provide space for grilling and for people to go outside and have a conversation or smoke a cigarette or whatever people do outside on porches. And the goal as well is to provide a secondary accessible approach to the parish hall itself. So we're proposing a wood deck for the floor, as well as this kind of scroll work detail for the hand railings. And so here you can see a little bit of an elevation. So like much of the scroll work that you see in the village, we're proposing to cut this kind of symmetrical pattern that would emulate the angles of the, in reference the angles of the peaked windows of the parish hall. And we're proposing to use naturally, well, not rot-resistant wood, but not using pressure-treated methodologies, but using non-toxic thermal treatments that are known by a variety of kind of trade names, such as Kebony is one manufacturer, and again, a couple of other different brands, but they're essentially processes of baking the sugars out of the wood so that the wood is no longer considered a food source and will not sustain rot.
And would that be for all of the wood?
Yes, it would be. We may have pressure-treated substructure, but anything that's visible would be of this Kebony, or Akoya is one of the other brand names out there. So again, just to reference the scroll work immediately across the street at the corner of Chestnut and 9D, and then up the street a little bit further. And you can see the patterning that I'm referencing. Here's the entrance to Peter. Yeah, everything's on the run here. So I'm looking at Peter Farrell's house right there. So this is Peter's house, and it's almost St. Patrick's Day. And
Okay, any questions from the board?
So I mean, I appreciate the trash being relocated and the need for this, for that, but this building doesn't already have an accessible, are the doors too narrow at the front entrance?
yeah, the doors are not actually accessible. I mean,
Okay.
the two leaves open, yes, but they're not like kind of.
Yeah, they're clunky and they don't have the right hardware, and yeah, okay.
Right.
I don't presume you have any lot coverage issues, given that the lot's so big.
No, we don't. And just to go back on the point of general accessibility, the ramp also serves probably the greater purpose, the greater amount of use, I should say, in that those large garbage cans are heavy, and so they can be wheeled down rather than people struggling with steps.
Is the ramp dead ending into the lawn, the grass, or is there?
And right now, there's a blue stone in the general vicinity that we'd actually reuse and reset. So we'd be landing on that, but we didn't develop a path otherwise.
I don't love the angle, the ramp on an angle, but I understand kind of the need for it. So
I don't love it either, Todd. I'm glad you brought that up. I was looking at this, wondering if it could just be here.
Well, it would add a considerable amount of fill and challenge to the site if we were to not take advantage of the grade change. So
would it be possible, like Lloyd just drew, for it to hug the building, or? Oh.
Okay, you want to draw on the floor plan there?
I was going to draw on the picture there.
Okay.
Don't worry, I don't have to do that. I feel sort of like a terrorist when I do that here.
Yeah. So
Like
the goal
here.
is to land it, to bring it, to return it over here and bring it back.
Yeah.
That is a possibility. It's not one that we had considered. It is kind of, I would say that it's impinging a bit more on the original architecture of the building. It's kind of gets pretty close to the, when this was the chapel, this was the rectory space of that, forgotten the term for the vestment area.
Well, I think if you go back to the plan, yeah, let's go back to the plan for a sec. So the area that you're looking to land, it looks like if that was straightened out and essentially you pulled the porch a little bit to the, I guess, east, you can still make a very nice transition. It just means that you come out the door and then you have to go to the right. But I think it becomes more sympathetic with the shape of the building,
Right.
and it also it shouldn't impinge on the structure of the or the architecture of the building, because you still would be it looks like at least a couple of feet away from from the structure.
Yeah, I think this other location idea, the straightening it out hides it a little bit more. I don't think it'll hide the building much more because it's doing, it's roughly the same position. And I agree, it's more sympathetic with the architecture and just sort of tucks it away. I like that idea better too. I was wondering about the material. Is that okay? I don't know how far. I'm going too far here, probably. Barbecuing on that material. Do we have any sort of regulations or concern about that?
I don't know if you want to go in that, because realistically, how many people barbecue on wood decks?
Many, I
No.
know.
Yeah,
So-
Myself included.
more of an issue when people park their barbecues against their vinyl-sided houses. That's when you see real issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. James, do you have any objections or problems with straightening out the ramp?
So just so that we're in understanding here, that it'd be something to the effect of
Yep.
relocating the ramp like that.
Yeah.
And let's say, 2 feet of distance off the ramp to the building so that one can get around and pick up the trash and
Yeah.
pull the weeds and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and if the large porch platform is extended a little bit to the left to give you more room to make that turn, I
Gives you
think,
a landing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'll be good for the trash cans.
Okay. So, does board members, how do you feel about a need to have a public hearing about this?
What are the criteria that we normally apply to?
Well, it would need to be a significant change that really requires the input of the community.
I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, neither do I. How about
I'll follow you guys.
okay. All right, so there's no public hearing. Now, do anybody have any other comments concerning the application?
No, I think it looks good otherwise.
Okay, so we have an application and we have a proposed modification that the applicant is willing to entertain or to revise the drawing to, and dealing with how the ramp attaches to the porch. Do I have a motion concerning the application as modified?
I would move to accept it as modified.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, with that, Lloyd, your vote.
Aye.
Todd, your vote.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Okay, it's approved.
Great.
All right, James,
Thank you.
can you modify the drawings and email them to me, and I'll process the C of A?
Great, I appreciate that. And I took a screen grab to capture our little scribble there, so we'll
Okay,
get that done. Good, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks,
all right,
James.
thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I guess Laura, you're up. So we have 56 Paulding Avenue.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm just here presenting for this deck and patio and small stair addition on the back of the building. So I think just my client are Michelle, the owners are Michelle and Eric Cupper, and they just wanted me to begin by just introducing that they had already worked on extensive renovation in 2015 and 16. And having lived there for a while following that renovation, that includes this back area, as you'll see, the patio doors and so forth. They now kind of have a better sense of what they want to do in that back space. So they had held off at that time. And they're ready to use the beautiful backyard. So yeah, should I share my screen or would you?
Go ahead, share your screen.
Yeah, I don't think we have the materials up this week on our site.
I'll share my screen. Oh boy. Yeah. For some reason it won't let me. Let's see. Try again.
There's a second button that you have to push after you push the one on the bottom of the one with all our pictures.
Um,
Oh, you have to choose your screen or your application, and then there's a third step, I guess, actually.
Yeah, I clicked on share screen and then it took me to desktop and I hit share, but then it said allow Zoom to share your screen, open system preferences, security and privacy to grant access, which I opened. There we go.
okay.
Are we there? There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's Jeff. I opened them up, so
Oh, you did it for me.
Yep.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure.
we'll have to coordinate the movement. Just give me
All
a
right.
signal when you're ready for me to scroll.
All right, you can, yeah, scroll to the next page. This is just the drawing set. So in this first site data sheet, you kind of get a sense of the existing home, residence, and accessory structures on the property. You get a sense of the extent of the property. And we used we included a table of information regarding the lot coverage and setbacks. And then we also pulled up a map of the neighborhood just to have a sense of where our property lies with respect to the other properties surrounding it. And so that
Okay. Can you identify which of the squares is the
it's
property?
the large, yeah, it's the large.
No, I'm talking about on the zoning map.
Yeah, on the zoning map, it's the large square with the tax map number. Let's see if I can.
Jeff, keep moving it up,
Just-
up, over.
Sorry.
Up, yeah, almost.
Up.
Right
49
across the street, right across the street.
across. There we go. That's it. The parcel number is 49.5-4-55. Yep,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And so in terms of sort of how this backyard deck and patio relate to the neighboring properties, and we'll see more in the photos, it's pretty protected or concealed, if that makes sense. You have West Bank Street behind the property. It's a street that dead ends, and there are a few homes across West Bank Street, but they're quite a distance away. And then the adjacent properties on the left and right on Paulding itself are pretty concealed. You'll later see due to the topography of the backyard and the existing accessory structures in the backyard of the property. So unless you have any specific questions on this, we can move on. So I can, yeah, walk you through the designs. So this is the existing site map without the proposed deck and patio on the left there. And these are some existing photos that we had included on our plans, just so you get a sense of where this proposed deck will be going. The top photo shows the existing paving. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jeff. That shows where the existing stone path, which you can see it's a very long linear stone path. If you look over at the site map again, it extends from basically near the house all the way to the patio of the pool area. And there's a little bit of a patchwork of brick that meets, I think it's either a flagstone or a bluestone, and we're trying to match it as closely as possible in our material selection for the proposed patio. And then in the middle photo, you see the existing patio doors that were approved, I believe, in the application back in 2015, 2016. But the accessory, what these patio doors were supposed to open up to was then, I guess, eliminated for budget concerns. Or just to, wait and see what the clients or owners wanted to do with this space. And so then if you look down at the bottom right, one of the reasons we're showing the bottom right photo is that we're proposing a very similar kind of railing as what exists on this side of the house. This is kind of around the corner. If you go back to the site plan, you'll see a little appendage jutting out to the left of the home, and that is what is photographed on that bottom right. And we are in the proposed plan, which if you turn the page, I will show you where that is hoping to be replicated. So since we were talking about it, where we have new stair indicated, that is, we are trying to match the railing as closely as possible on that structure. And then where we have the new sort of L-shaped deck, we had a few different considerations, and we wanted to make it, such that you wouldn't, with the deck, you wouldn't obscure the back of the building. So you'll see it's a much more open design on this deck. And the stone patio is proposed to be sort of just adjacent to the path, the existing path, and kind of feathering into the grass landscape. So if you have any questions on this, otherwise we can turn the page and get more detailed.
Well, I do have a question. Does the large flagstone patio, does it just end the way it's shown, or is there a border, or?
Yeah, no, the idea is to feather it into the landscape the way that it's shown, to sort of, I think one of the things that we were inspired by there, I think we have some photos, design precedent photos that I could share, but we were sort of inspired by a lot of the existing fragments of where you see the brick pavement sort of intersects with the stone, linear stone path over on the left there. There's that sort of finer grain hatch on the far left is a brick paving pattern. So so it was kind of this idea of, having a patio so that it looks like it sort of was there and sort of intersected with the landscape. Yeah.
Right.
I'm still here. I'm having video problems and like resource issues on my computer. We don't really it's so low and to the ground that we don't really, for lack of a better word, care, do we?
No, I mean, I'm just trying to get a
Trying to
idea about the
I'm
visual
just,
effect
yeah,
overall.
just trying to understand if we need to consider that or not.
No, we don't get into ruling on paving or anything which is flat.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, this next plan is the paving plan. We can skip over
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, our intention was to sort of be inspired by some of the existing materials and layout on the site. And then coming to this next page, thank you, Jeff. This is on the right there. Well, on the left, you see the plan, the drawn plan of the stair enlarged, and then you see a couple of elevations. And so you can sort of see how we really are just trying to replicate what is around the corner on the house existing. I think that's it for this page.
Okay. Quick question.
Mhm,
So all of the components are wood,
mhm.
and the piers are solid brick?
Yeah, painted white wood to match
Mhm.
around the corner, and
Right.
yeah, and then I think there was also brick at the pier around the corner, which is why we're trying to match it.
Okay.
And this is the deck, which is, it's not a very tall deck, so it's also very, very low to the ground. In fact, at one point, I think when we were playing with the topography, we were considering, whether it was high enough to even require railing, but we decided for both, it's sort of right at that threshold, that 30 inches or so. So we decided to put a railing around, and the railing you'll see in the railing that the clients really would like to install on this deck is one that's it's a black steel post and cable railing, which is not a historic or historically referencing type of railing, but because it's on the back. And one of the other considerations was that it helps with transparency to the actual house. When they're in the backyard enjoying their backyard, they can see the house better if the railing is not quite so heavy. Because if we were to replicate the railing such, similar to how we were replicating it on that smaller new staircase, yeah, you just have a very solid vertical against the back of the house. So we were trying to eliminate that and keep that openness there. And yeah, I think that's, and then, the deck material is similar to the material that James mentioned. It's called thermery. And it is also sort of treated to with heat and to sort of remove its anything that would cause it to rot. So yeah, we're hoping it has the longevity
Is it
that
is it painted?
no, the decking would not be painted. It would just be a tip of wood. It can be oiled to be maintained. It's not required, but yeah.
How about the deck on the small little stoop from the back door?
The
Is the deck also going to be the same material?
No, I think we're gonna match what was existing, which I have to double check. Hang on a second, what we said it was gonna be. mm, Sorry, it was paint, the risers are painted wood, and
Those
the risers are painted, but I'm trying to, I think we did not note it. Did we note it? I don't think so. I think we just left it at, we were gonna match what's existing. But I'll double
All right,
check.
can we go back, Jeff, can we go back to the photo that was on the first page or second page? Okay. So there's sort of a grayish material.
Yeah, I was having trouble remembering if it was because if it was a wood or just like a weathered wood or a painted wood. But I'll double check. And it has these, the existing steps have these anti-slip pieces as well, but I'm not sure if that was added on later. So we'll double check, but the intention is to match, pretty exactly what's there.
Without the awning.
Without the posts and the awning, exactly, or the covered area. Yeah.
Okay, how about as far as the railing on let's go back to that plan.
Mhm.
No, the plan of the large deck.
Yeah, it's on the next page. There we go. Yep.
Okay, so how about the posts on this deck? Are they
Steel, right?
Yeah, black steel. I have photos in the of the material specifications and the other document, which is called exterior specs, 56 Paulding exterior specs. And yeah, it's by a company called Keuka, Keuka. It's the Ithaca style railing. And it's one of the sort of more simple, just kind of elegant black posts with a wood top that would match, would be thermary. And then there's a few different, you could specify black cables or stainless cables. And either one, I think basically part of, both the scale and size and materiality we felt was the most transparent that we could get.
Is there, what's on the next page?
Um,
Page 8, or, okay.
those are the details. That's a step detail with a proposed light, and then just the paving detail. Yep.
You want me to open up the document that has the pictures?
That'd be great. Yeah, the material. Well, yeah, we could do material specifications first. Yeah.
Is any of this really visible from anywhere?
Not really, and that's the next document that shows. It says photos of structures, which we can review as well. We kind of did a scan. We went around, drove onto West Bank and also around at the front, and then also took photos from the backyard. And you could see that it's quite a long distance, and also not a very visible view shed to any neighboring properties. So yeah, we can look at this next. We can come to the materials after this, but so this is kind of, again, that very centrally located largest square is showing 56 Paulding. Yeah, that's where Jeff's the cursor is. And we sort of identified the most adjacent properties, which are the ones to the left and right on Paulding, and then some of the ones behind on Bank. I considered the ones on Pine, but as you'll see, there's not a lot of view towards those.
And we have photographs of them?
Yeah, as you scroll through the presentation. So these first photographs are of the house, so you can kind of move.
Okay, all right. Now the deck is off to the left of this, right? Am I correct?
The deck
what is
is
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that structure that looks like it has siding on it, which would be in front of it?
On the far left there,
Yeah.
that's just part of the house. It's just one of the sort of jutting out portions of the house, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'm sort of curious.
Yeah, you can, if you look at the plan, there's a little bump out. And then there's existing mechanical equipment there. And so this first photo is looking towards an existing accessory structure. So if you are, it's labeled brick shed. And it's basically the view shed from where we're proposing the deck towards the adjacent property. You can kind of see a little bit of, well, you can't really see much. I think, yeah, because that other structure is the structure, you see a brick structure and then you see a siding as a garage structure, and both of those actually exist on 56 Paulding on the property. So you don't really see much beyond from this position, from looking in
Okay.
that direction. Yeah. So
All right. I guess, do we have a photograph from the sidewalk looking at the side where the porch is added?
it's totally concealed. There's no, I mean, I could take a photo. That would just be a photo of the front of the house. But it's not visible, I don't think. I see what you're saying. I could go back and take a photo. I don't think it'll be visible, but
So you had one almost there, which is the one of the side with the existing stoop with awning, but it doesn't, you can't quite see. Yeah, there. I mean, it's just kind of a wide
yeah.
view of this would show it, but I don't think you can really see around that from what I recall. I'd have to look again.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Are you talking about looking, are you talking about looking from the sidewalk towards where the existing covered stair is, or towards where the sort of generator and mechanical equipment are?
We're talking about looking from a public right of way to any of the new construction.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think you have any visibility from the public right of way on Paulding towards the back there. Because of the topography, I can point out if we keep scrolling through this presentation, but I'm happy to go back and check if necessary. But if you scroll through the presentation a few pages more, so that's looking towards Pine. And so, yeah, see this is the big hillside that's looking towards your adjacent 64 Paulding, the neighbors on the right. And I think because of the hillside, and I think that continues towards the front of the property, which is why it's pretty concealed. But I can see that you probably, yeah, I don't have an exact photo from the public right of way to that back from Paulding. I guess I was we were trying to get so many from the back that we didn't think about that. We just assumed that you couldn't see it because it was at the back, but that's looking towards Pine again. If you scroll down, yeah. And that's looking towards West Bank. And so you can see it's quite a distance. And there's a fence it's a mix of a solid wooden and chain link fence along the back of the property along West Bank. So when you're actually on that street, it's not very visible because of the height differential. And then if you keep going. Yeah, this kind of is, yeah, this is still looking towards West Bank and Paulding, sort of, and 64 Paulding. So you see that the little edge of that hillside on the right-hand side of the property when you're looking towards West Bank.
I never realized that was there. So that hill is between 56 and 64.
Exactly, yeah.
I thought it was trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's what made it seem like, yeah, that's why we didn't, think that there would be any visibility from there, but we can explore that. So yeah, that's kind of the extent of the photographs we have of the property, of the structure, and sort of it's basically the landscape and the view sheds. And yeah, material specifications, this kind of outlines some of the materials. So this is the description of the thermary ash is what we're proposing. It's a very durable, treated ash, treated to have longevity outside. So, and I've worked with it before and it works out really well. So, and I guess maybe this is not as relevant, but we were trying to show that this is maybe, Al, what you had asked about earlier, that feathered plan. That's the feathered edge, and it's sort of just a way to reference the existing stone path and how you have the grass sort of just meets these fragments of existing stone and brick pathways. And we're considering, I think our option one is the flagstone because it's the closest to the existing. But we have a couple of options on the table just in case. And then the railing that you were asking about, this is kind of an example. So it was hard to find photographs of all the components, exactly how we were going to choose them. So this is kind of, the posts are probably going to be in either a black or a very dark bronze. The little wave swatches represent the different finishes available in these posts. And then the cables could also be black to go away with a wood at the top. And for lighting, we were also considering two options, also leaning towards option one because it felt a little more subtle, which is just built into the stair wall, a little bit of lighting on the deck, on the deck steps. This would be on the wood deck steps. And there was also the consideration of that detail you saw, which is a strip light at each step, which we could also do depending on, what sort of input we got. So yeah, so I think that kind of describes the extent of the project. It's
I guess my only concern, and I tried going on Google Maps to see if we could see. I have no idea what the building looks like, and just if you go, Jeff, if you go to the plan, the overall site plan. Yeah, I think like the second page or the third page. Right. I mean, I guess my concern is that if you scroll up a little bit further, up, no, the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the sidewalk is down here at the bottom,
Mhm.
and there is a large open area. It even has what looks like a flagstone path.
Those
You
are
know,
actually
how,
large boulders concealing the mechanical equipment. Sorry to interrupt. But yeah,
okay.
I know where you're
Well,
talking. Yeah.
well, I mean, you know, there's a big, huge wedge of view from the sidewalk, and I have no idea of what that looks like attached to the building as it is. I haven't had a chance to go up and look at the building, so I don't really know what the front of the building looks like.
This is where
Um,
that hill is, right?
Yeah,
But I just think what Al's saying is it would be good to have a picture
a
from
picture
there
from
to-
that direction. I hear you. Yeah, I understand. That makes a lot of sense.
Is there any chance, Michelle, that you have any photos from the sidewalk that show the front of the house? By chance?
From the front sidewalk that goes,
Yeah,
okay,
we're just kind of trying to decipher how visible, if at all, any of this is from the sidewalk.
I do not think it would be, but I can certainly send some photos.
I looked on Street View and there's
Yeah, there's no street
nothing.
view on
We don't have them on most streets in this town.
There's just so much vegetation kind of
I-
close
I-
to the fence at the front of the house. And then, of course, the monadnock.
Well,
And then,
yeah, I mean, we
but you
can't
want some
really,
photos. Okay.
well, no, but you have to understand, we can't count on vegetation. Vegetation could die, could get cut down or whatever, but you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
essentially what we're trying to do is get an idea of what
visibility.
somebody, yeah, what somebody walking down the
Down the
street will
street, would
see.
see. Mhm.
So, all right, let me ask the other board members, anybody have questions concerning any of what was presented?
I think it's a great presentation. I like that the smaller entryway, I think that's an E next to it on this plan right here, is mimicking what's on the side of the house. And I think the materials choices for the deck is really beautiful and substantial, and the wood and metal are nice choices. I know they're more modern, but the materials themselves, I think, make up for that. So I think that's beautiful. I know we're not really talking about the patio since it's ground level, but I also think the flagstone kind of feathering into the yard is a really nice touch too. So I love the design and everything about it. So it's really just a matter of like, how visible is it from the street? I don't have any questions or suggestions or criticisms of it.
Lloyd?
I don't have any concerns. I guess I'd like to see that
Yeah,
from the street, but I think it's so low. I'm not concerned. Definitely not concerned about the paving. Yeah, I think it looks great. The presentation's good. A lot of material here. The materials look fine to me. Even the more modern railing, I like that. And yeah, I think that's all I have to comment.
all right. Jeff, can you scroll down to the images that are on the next sheet? Okay, right there. I guess that is my concern. If you take a look, this is the back elevation where this patio is going to be. And I have to agree with everybody. It looks like a well thought out plan, and you know, the materials are fine. The little stoop on the back matching the one on the side is fine. But then, you know, there is this patio or deck on the off of the second floor, which uses that same guardrail that you had at the two stoops. And then all of a sudden we have this very modern wire guardrail. And I guess that's the only part that really makes me pause. And that's why I'm sort of curious as to how visible it is from the street, because, everything else is consistent. And then all of a sudden, this deck isn't. And it would be interesting to sort of get an idea of what it looks like from the street.
Can I ask, is that upper deck, was that part of an addition or is that the original?
That was part of an addition. Yeah, that whole, as you're looking at the back of the house, that the left side is an addition. And
Okay.
so that back terrace is off our master bedroom.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's, you see the main part, the center part of the house, that's where the house used to stop.
Okay.
We put the whole left side on.
Right. Wait, so you have that right in front of this addition is that giant hill with all the rhododendron.
Yes, so there's a
Oh,
huge rhododendron in
You
the front of
can't
the
see
house.
any of this. You like literally
I
cannot. see any of
cannot
this.
imagine that you could. I mean, I'm happy to send photos for proof,
Yeah.
but that gargantuan rhododendron, and then that hill, which we learned is officially called a monadnock, which I did not know that word. All the kind of the bedrock. It's all rock. It's incredible. Which we were a little concerned about when we were digging the foundation for the addition. We thought, oh, it's all going to be bedrock, but it wasn't. Luckily enough, that was actually easy to get into. But I'm happy to get some photos taken from the sidewalk tomorrow and send them your way. But I would just be completely shocked. I'm scrolling through photos now to see if I can find anything at the front of the house that I might have taken.
I'm sorry to have missed that. I
Yeah,
think it was
and
a matter of, yeah.
I know we aren't taking vegetation into account. I know without a shadow of a doubt, with the rhododendron, you cannot see anything, but I think that mound is the structure, the rock
really blocks
is
everything.
enough that it's almost covering most of the first floor of the house of that addition.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So Todd, are you vouching for the invisibility of the addition? Is that what it is? You're
I
putting
mean,
your reputation on the line here?
Yeah. I understand if you guys want to see it. I feel confident in walking by that enough. And also liking the materials and liking the design of it all. I would feel comfortable approving it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I my only hesitation, like I said, is that you have set up this visual consistency with the flat board guardrails, and my only concern is that particular porch is markedly different. But if it's not visible, then it really is a moot point. So
Al, I do kind of agree with you on that point. But again, yeah, I mean, the only portion of this that would even possibly be visible from the street would be that extension of the deck past the end of the house.
I agree too, but I don't. I find the new railing preferable, and the older one makes me think of like the stockade fences that we don't.
Maybe
do
we're all suggesting that
for
you
fencing,
replace
so,
that second floor railing with the new the steel.
Suddenly there's more work. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I can tell you to do that. I can tell you to do that, but yeah, maybe that's the idea.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too much,
Okay.
but I think it was a considered, I think part of it was just the idea of maintaining that transparency to the
Yeah.
lower facade when you're back there, when, you know, when they have guests back there, to really kind of have that transparency towards the house at the lower level. And yeah, I totally see the fact that they're different on the upper. We considered that in the design process, but
We did.
yeah. I think the idea was like upstairs is a little bit more private and enclosed and
Well,
I understand.
I guess my question is that realistically, I guess the only part that really would be transparent that people would want to see really is, scroll up again, Jeff, take a look. Is really the back part between the deck and the flagstone paved area, as well as the all right, now if I can do this, let's go down to the blow up, the larger scale drawing. Okay, right there. No, yeah, I think it's the next one. Okay, right there. So the clear, transparent views, I see one facing the street, small little piece, and then we have the other one which is along the entire next length, and there, I guess, what is it that we're trying to enhance there?
I think part of it was sort of deciding that was that the railing that we chose or selected for what you're, rightfully pointing out are the more critical views facing the backyard. And then deciding that we didn't want to get too patchy and have like a totally different railing on that little L shape that Lloyd just highlighted. We did consider that because that is a more sort of tucked away area. It's sort of a back of deck area that is adjacent to, as you've seen on the site plan, that sort of bump out of the house and those big boulders and the sort of hillside and the concealed mechanical equipment. So it's kind of, we just did it. The reason we extended that same material is not for the transparency that we were trying to achieve on the front portions, but just for consistency of material and sort of elegance of material at the base. But you're right that the argument of transparency doesn't matter as much on that L shape. It was much more about those two frontal areas, the side and the front. Front, back, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I guess that doesn't concern me. I'd rather see through. And I think with the black steel and the cable, it's just going to go away.
Yeah, I agree.
My thought.
Okay. Let me, okay, the application as it's submitted with the proviso that Michelle emails me a photograph from the sidewalk, before Friday. And so the application, I guess, as submitted. Is the board ready for a vote on this? The reason I'm going through all of these steps is that we have a board of 5 members. In order to get an approval, we have to get a vote of 3 members. There's only 3 members today, so it has to be unanimous. So I just want to make sure I'm clear on what is being voted on today, in order to move this this application forward. So the application is submitted with the proviso that Michelle emails me a photograph from the street. So
Yeah.
with that, do I have a motion to approve the application as submitted?
I would move to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, Lloyd, your vote.
Aye.
All right, Todd,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Because I have Todd's assurances that it's not visible.
Yes.
Okay.
How much time?
Don't let me down, Michelle. I'm imagining a mountainside. I know it's a pretty big hill.
As long as nobody like clips down that rhododendron during the night or, you know, like levels the hill. I think
No,
it'll be
that
okay.
hill is, yeah, that's a big hill.
Okay,
Okay.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thanks so
All right.
much.
thank you.
Al, should I send them just to you, to your email address, or how should I get them to you? The picture?
Yeah, just to my email address, that'd be fine because
Okay.
I'll include it in the certificate of appropriateness and that'll go on file.
Okay, I will do that tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
all.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Night. Okay. All right. Public comment about what? Okay.
There is no public.
Yeah, approval of minutes. Me, ACH, Andrea, Lloyd, and Todd. So I guess the minutes, do we have minutes that we can vote on?
I didn't see any in the folder.
Okay. All right, then we'll hold off on that. How about update on the design standards? We need to get going on this.
Yeah, I
So,
know. The thing is, it needs a whole sort of read through. I think Todd, not Todd, Sean said he was going to do that at one point, but yeah, we have the photos. There's a number of areas in it. I haven't sent the photos to Kirsten, because I don't want to send it to her in dribs and drabs. Because there's a whole number of like pink or red sections in there that we need to fill in. Have not had time to go through and do all that editing. There's a lot of cross-referencing of things. So
My last email about the photos, I'm not going to be able to find it right now easily, but was kind of opening it up for feedback from everybody. I think at the end where there's all of the different architectural styles that are being described, I couldn't tell from the comments whether we were trying to include photos of all of these different styles or not. And if so, I'm happy to take the pictures, but I would not have the expertise to identify what this.
okay, let's do it this way, because what you're talking about, Todd,
That's all right.
sorry, is actually one of the appendices, right?
It's at the end. Yeah, it's at, let me try to.
found your email. I can send it
Oh,
around,
you did.
or I can send it back to you if you want to say, "Hey, everybody, please."
Well, my thought is that let's see if we can finish off the main body and then take each appendices one at a time, because it keeps dragging on, and I think it's a little unfair to Kirsten because she
totally.
keeps plugging away at this, and we really should at some point
Get it done.
set her free. Free at last, thank God Almighty. All right, so let's focus on the body of the book, and let's see if we can finish that. Is that,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
I
we
think
can-
we're good from a photography standpoint, for that, I'm pretty certain.
all right, Lloyd, why don't you review that portion and just come up with what, what needs to be done in order to finish that? All right, for the next meeting?
Yep. And yeah. Hold on a second. I can show you here what it is. But sorry, 1 second. Let me find out this again. Okay, I'll review it again. I can show you what I'm talking about.
All right, well, it just, let's focus on the main text and let's see if we can get that out of the way, and then we'll take each of the appendices one at a time. And just go ahead and finish it off because we really need to get it done.
Yeah,
Okay?
we do. I just want to show you what we're up against still. Maybe we need to do this in a workshop, this separate session, but can you see this or not?
Well, we can see your screen, but there's nothing on the screen.
Hmm. How's that?
No, still, oh, there we go.
Okay. There.
So we still have all, I mean, this table of contents is, so I think we did most of this. I don't know if this is the latest one, but this is what I'm talking about. There are all these little pink sections in here that need to be completed. So here's a big one.
Okay, well,
I'll take a stab at that. I just,
yeah, take a look at that and just finalize what it is that need, or identify what needs to be finalized, and then what we'll do is we'll assign it to we'll assign pieces of it to different people, and we will wrap it up. Okay.
yeah, I mean, there was this whole section too, which had all these examples just kind of thrown in here so we wouldn't forget them.
Okay, but the
I think this is,
yeah, but isn't this is the
that's one of the
style standard, the style summary.
Yeah, it's not the main body. So the
Okay.
main body is back here. We should be able to figure this out and finish this off. And then
Right.
we have all the photos from January 23rd is when Todd sent those.
Okay, yeah, that's the email, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. With that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll
Todd,
second.
do you all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you. Aye.
So in 2 weeks, we'll get together again and we'll see if we can, depending on whether or not we have any applications, let's see if we can, push
Yeah.
ahead on as far as the design standards.
Yeah, and in the
Okay.
meanwhile too, I'm going to the village meeting next week to report about it, right?
Okay.
It's on the 9th, which is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Yep.
So
Okay.
what our goal is, and try to put a date to it too.
Yeah.
If we need to discuss what we can do it by email.
All right.
All right, good night, gentlemen.
Good
Good
night.
night. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.